Before you spend thousands on a redesign, you need to hear this. Most founders rebuild their store for reasons that have nothing to do with conversions, user experience, or revenue, and it always leads to disappointment. If you're planning a redesign in the next 3 to 6 months, this video will save you a lot of time and stress. I'm Blake Yeboah, founder of Futuremerce, where we help Shopify brands with conversion-focused design and development. Between redesigns, migrations, and audits, I see the same patterns again and again. And the truth is, most redesigns fail before a single markup is created. Here's the problem. Most redesigns are emotional decisions.
What?
The site feels old. The branding feels off. Competitors look better. This leads to redesigns that are based on opinions, not data, which usually means you fix the wrong problems, ignore the real problems, and end up with the same conversion issues you were experiencing in the first place.
No! God, please, no! No!
Today, I'm going to walk you through the biggest misconceptions I see founders believe and show you the exact process you should follow before you spend a single dollar on design or development. Let's get straight into it. The first misconception is that a new user interface will magically fix your conversion rate. Founders love the idea of a fresh look for their store. And I get it, a clean interface feels like progress. But design without strategy won't drive any more conversions. A nice looking store which is confusing to use is still confusing. Here's what you should do instead. Before touching the visuals, audit every friction point of your store. Look at how many steps it takes to get to a product. Look at what information is missing. Look at how your product pages are structured. Rather than blindly redesigning your entire store, use these insights to actually fix the real problems. For example, if you notice a lot of users navigating to your product pages but there's very few add to carts, you know there's likely an issue on your product page directly. It could be a lack of trust or a lack of incentive, but identifying the bottlenecks is how you take your store to the next level. The next misconception is that copying big brands is a smart strategy. Everyone benchmarks against large brands like Gymshark and Culture Kings. But these brands operate in a different universe. They have trust, influence, brand equity, and a massive returning customer base. You cannot copy a brand that has 10 years of customers' trust and expect it to convert the same way. You can use parts of their store for inspiration, but copying exactly what they're doing won't get you the same results. Instead, design for your users. Smaller brands need clearer messaging, stronger product education, and fewer assumptions. Also, make sure to include lots of trust elements throughout your store. The third misconception is that a redesign is needed to fix your store's speed. A whole redesign is very likely overkill for simple speed issues. Obviously, your theme does have an impact on your store's speed, but it very likely comes from very specific sources that are quick to identify and fix. For example, large images that need to be resized, or too many apps embedding too many scripts. Redesigning your store without understanding these factors will easily lead to the exact same problems. Redesigns are a good opportunity for you to improve your store's speed, but that shouldn't be the sole reason that you're redesigning. The fourth misconception is that a redesign will fix poor product market fit. Some stores think design is a bottleneck, but if the product offer is unclear, or the reviews are weak, or the positioning is vague, no amount of design will fix the deeper issue. Design can amplify a good product and offer, but it can't replace one. Here's what you should do instead. Clarify your value propositions, your bundles, your pricing logic, and your differentiators. Make sure people actually want what you sell before you rebuild the container it sits in. The last misconception is that redesigning means you should start from scratch. This is one of the biggest money wasters. Founders assume every redesign should be a blank slate. In reality, the fastest and safest redesigns happen when you keep what's already working well and you redesign what needs to be updated. Hybrid redesigns are cheaper, faster, and more reliable. This is essentially where you only redesign certain elements of your store rather than rebuilding your entire store. Obviously, to do this, you need to identify which sections are working well and which sections will need to be upgraded in your redesign. To do this, you need to use analytical tools like Google Analytics or a heat mapping tool like Microsoft Clarity. Google Analytics will give you quantitative data that you can use to make decisions. For example, if certain products aren't getting as many add to carts as others and they're using a different layout. Heat mapping tools and session recording tools let you actually see how users are using your site. So you can see where they're actually experiencing friction and where they're most likely to drop off. Reviewing this data lets you gain better insights into which sections actually need improving in your store. Keep your proven pieces and rebuild the weak ones. This reduces development time, which reduces how much it costs you and helps you actually improve your conversion rate. So what should you actually do before redesigning your store? Here's a simple 5-step process that we use at Futuremerce. The first step is to audit your store. Check your store's speed using a tool like PageSpeed Insights. Review your website from a consumer's point of view to identify areas of friction that's hurting your conversion rate. You really need to let go of your personal feelings towards your store. You gotta look at this with an objective pair of eyes. While doing this, don't forget to check for technical issues as well. Even if you're not technical, you want to check that all functionality works well and things aren't buggy. If you regularly make changes to your store and you don't test it out that much, you're definitely going to want to do this. The next step is to map the buying journey. Ask yourself, who is the buyer, what concerns they have, and what they need to see before they purchase. This is not just a vital part of running a brand, but running any business in general. You can't position yourself well if you don't understand what your customers need or want. For example, if you're in the tech accessories space, having clear specifications and a clear warranty policy is crucial, as no one wants to drop thousands on a piece of tech with no safety net. If you're in the beauty space, showing before and after results can be incredibly powerful so your potential customers see what they're actually going to gain by using your products. The next step is to prioritize improvements. Before you start fixing issues, you're going to want to prioritize what you're going to fix. You want to start with the highest impact changes that will require the least amount of time and effort on your part. How you actually determine this will vary based on your store. For example, if you run a clothing brand and you don't have clear filtering on your collection pages, that's definitely having a significant impact on your sales. It can also be fixed quite quickly by using an app, so that'll be a good improvement to put high on your list. Improving your speed will also have quite an impact, but if your site is already quite quick, you may not want to prioritize it. User-facing conversion issues like a lack of social proof will have a much larger impact, so you want to prioritize those. Now that we've got a list of prioritized improvements based on data and research, you're going to want to implement them, starting with the highest priority ones. Before jumping into a fresh design or your theme's code, have a clear plan in place. For example, if you're setting up collection filtering, you should have a clear list of what filters you want to include that should make sense based on your product line. For example, things like colors and sizes for clothes or skin types for skincare products. Going in with a clear plan of what you're actually doing and what you're looking to improve is how you actually make meaningful changes to your store. Speaking of meaningful changes, if you're a Shopify founder thinking about a redesign and you want an expert to take a look at your store, you can book a free strategy call using the link below. Whether we work together or not, you'll walk away knowing exactly what to improve so you can start generating more sales. Great brands aren't built by guessing. They're built by understanding why customers buy, why they don't, and fixing the friction in between. When you take this approach, conversions go up without needing gimmicks. Please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.